Hello everyone and welcome to the Fintelligent Investor channel. I'm CA Pratiksha Pai. Welcome to our show, The Professional on Call Who Knows It All. However, this video is very important for our CA fraternity, that is the Chartered Accountant fraternity. Why? Because we are on the cusp of a very important event that happens in the CA ecosystem, which is the ICAI elections. And to provide more awareness on this elections, how to vote, who are eligible to vote, and many more FAQs, we have two young, vibrant chartered accountants with us today on our panel who are also twin sisters. There is going to be a lot of discussion, in-depth discussion about ICAI elections, and we should understand that voting is our right, our duty, and our power. We alone cannot every day go to institute individually, each one of us, to do any representations or changes, whatever we want to happen at the institute level or at any other bigger level. Which is why we vote and delegate our power to the people who are candidates who are contesting the elections, and then they represent us at the larger level and see to it that our representations are made in a proper manner. Also, this video is helpful to the first time voters because the ICI elections happen once in 4 years now onwards, and there will be many first time voters who get accumulated in a span of 4 years, and they will definitely have to watch this video along with seasoned voters as well, because just like how difficult our CA exams are, in the same way our voting is also not that simple. We have something called the preferential voting system. What is this? How this works? We are going to decode everything in this video. So please watch till the end. And now let me introduce the two most vibrant, young, as well as beautiful chartered accountants who are also twin sisters. So welcome to the show, CA Sahita Halli and CA Shamita Halli. Let me quickly introduce them to you. Shamita and Sahita are both qualified chartered accountants. They qualified in the year 2020 and bring nearly 5 years of post qualification experience. Shamita is currently a manager specializing in external audit and assurance in Bangalore. Sahita initially worked in corporate taxation in Bangalore, and now she continues her career in corporate tax in Sydney, Australia. Since their student days, both have actively participated in ICI initiatives and remain passionate about public speaking, dance, and writing. Today, they will be speaking about the voting process because they believe that it is vital for every member to actively participate in shaping the future of ICAI. Voting is the cornerstone of our democratic framework, and these both girls want to encourage fellow members to exercise this right thoughtfully and responsibly. By voting, members contribute to building a strong leadership team that represents their interests and advances the profession. With this introduction, I again welcome you both to the panel.
Thank you, Pratiksha.
Yes, so let's go. Let's start this vibrant topic, which is ICAI elections. So, first, let me start with Shamita. So, Shamita, first and foremost, the foundation. When are these elections, and why do you think the people should vote in ICAI elections?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us on this panel, Pratiksha. As you mentioned right before our introduction, it is first necessary for all of us to understand why it is important for each of us to go out there and vote. As chartered accountants, I think we all agree that post our qualification, our lives have transformed in a huge manner for the better. And for this, we need to give credit to our institute that has come up with such a
Absolutely.
rigorous curriculum and training. And this has given us the recognition of a chartered accountant. And this is now, this qualification is now recognized worldwide today. So, with such great recognition comes great responsibility, not just for our clients, but also towards our profession. I'm someone who believes that there is a great sense of joy and satisfaction in giving back to your profession. And one such way to give back to your profession is electing for your is by voting for your representatives. So the ICAI elections are coming up on the 6th and 7th of December. By voting for your representatives, I think this is a great chance to ensure that your voice is heard and that the direction in which the profession is headed truly reflects your needs and aspirations. If you look at the elections that happened last year in 2021, on an average, about 40% of the voters have, used their voting rights. So I think this is unfair that only a small a portion of members decide the future of the profession for all of us, and our profession deserves better. So I strongly encourage all eligible chartered accountants to go out there and vote. Regarding the election dates, it would be held on 6th and 7th of December in the cities of Bangalore, Chennai, Coimbatore, Guntur, Hyderabad, Kochi, Vijayawada, and Vishakapatnam. And it would be held only on 7th December in all the other cities. And the voting timings would be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Absolutely. While this is for the southern region, even in all the other regions, if you're watching us from north, east, west, or central, you will get a notification of when you are eligible to vote at your polling booths. So, Shamita, you mentioned that people who are eligible to vote, I urge them to go out and vote. So, please tell us who are these people who are eligible to vote?
Yeah, so all chartered accountants who are registered with the institute as on 1st April 2024 are eligible to vote. Many people have this misconception that only if they are COP holders then they would be eligible to vote, but that's not the case. Irrespective of whether you are a COP holder or in employment, you would be eligible to vote.
Oh, absolutely. That's good to know because I think many people who are not COP holders who are into employment will definitely have this misconception. And as you mentioned, only just 40% utilized their right to vote in the last elections. But even if you are in employment, you still hold the right and the power to vote, and not only a right, but you also have a duty to vote so that you all can vote for the candidate who you think will represent you better at a larger scale. So with this, let us come to Sahita. Sahita, please tell us where to vote because people are scattered all around the country and beyond. So let us understand from you where to vote.
Yeah. Hi, Pratiksha. Once again, thanks for having us and for letting us discuss this important topic. I think where to vote has become more important now, like you mentioned, because members are all across all over. So you could visit knowyourbooth.ici.org, which will show your mode of polling, whether it is by poll or by post, and it will also show your current polling booth. And in case of cities with no polling booths attached, or in case of members with foreign addresses which are registered with ICI as on 1st April 2024, all these members would generally be eligible to vote by post. And in case of these members who are eligible to vote by post, they receive the ballot papers through post, and this would come with detailed instructions on how to vote. I urge all these members to please go through all the instructions and follow it to point, because you put in so much effort to vote and then send it back to ICI. So you should ensure that your vote actually gets counted and that it doesn't go invalid. So please fill out the ballot paper as per the instructions and make sure that your response reaches ICI New Delhi before 13th December 2024 at 5 p.m. and make sure to sign at the back of the envelope and also return it through the post office, which is at your registered address only.
So amazing. Sahita, you are at Sydney. So are you want to post your vote?
No, I'm actually coming back to India to cast my vote. But
Oh my
yeah,
God,
now
that's
that I'm
next
here,
level
I see
dedication.
how important it is for people. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to urge everyone on this note that we have young chartered accountants who are having this dedication to come back to India and vote. So definitely, this voting is also as important as any other votes that you have the right to. And as Shamita mentioned, if you are eligible, please do see to it that you exercise this right and vote on the voting day, which is 6th and 7th December. But you will also have gotten a notification on which date in your city the voting is going to take place. Sahita, with this, now we come to the very important question. We know that the voting process is not as simple as we perceive it to be. So we have something called the preferential voting system in the ICAI elections, which in a very simple words which in very simple words I can tell, like, choosing best favorite to least favorite. So, with this small background, can you tell us in a technical in depth what is the preferential voting system?
Yeah, sure. I think it's important for all of us to understand how preferential voting works, just so that we understand how important it is for us to put preferences on the ballot paper and and make informed decisions on how many preferences we actually want to put on the paper. So how it works is all the voters would rank the candidates on the ballot paper according to their preferences. I'm sure Shamita would talk ahead on how you can mark that on the ballot paper. And then after you mark your preferences at the time of counting, initially only the first preference votes get counted from all the ballot papers. And in case any candidate secures more than the required quota from the first preference votes, then they are declared as a winner. And then, in case of a winning candidate, in case they have any balance votes in excess of the quota required, then all those excess votes get distributed to the continuing members in a certain ratio. And there's also a similar process with the eliminated candidates. In case a candidate gets eliminated due to least number of votes, then their votes would also get distributed to the continuing candidates in terms of subsequent preferences. So this step is repeated until all the seats are filled. So make sure that you put in as many preferences as possible on the ballot paper, because once there are no more preferences on the ballot paper, then your paper becomes an exhausted paper, which means that it will no longer serve any value in the in the further counting process. So make sure that you put as many preferences as possible on the paper.
Oh wow, that's amazing. So if I have to put it like this, it's like you put first preference, and in the first round, all the first preference votes get, it gets into all the respective candidates' kitty, right? And in that, if some candidate gets above the whatever quota is mentioned based on certain calculations, if any candidate gets more than that quota in the first preference itself, that candidate already makes it to the council, regional or central.
Yeah,
Then,
yeah.
if for the others who do not get over there, but they've got a good number of first preference, the one who gets least is eliminated, right?
Mhm.
And in the
Right.
eliminated candidates voting papers, whoever is in the second preference, they get that, but not in 1:1 ratio, in some other ratio which is deemed fit as per internal calculations. So what
Yeah.
uh, a conclusion comes out of this is that all, not only the first preference but also your second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever number of preferences, also hold a good value.
Yes, that
the
is
You're
so true.
absolutely
second
right. Yeah.
the second point that came out of what you told was try to give as many preferences because if the candidates for whom you vote for, if you've given only say five preferences and all these five candidates get eliminated in each of these rounds, then from the sixth round onwards, your voting paper or your ballot paper is it is exhausted, it is invalid, no more, I mean your choices are no more there. Amazing. So, please put out as many preferences as possible. You never know. Someone can benefit from any larger number of preference as well.
That is true.
Absolutely. That makes great sense. So, Shamita, with this understanding, when we go out practically to vote, can you tell us how to write the numbers in the ballot paper?
Sure. So, Pratiksha, it is pretty simple to vote on the ballot paper. But before we go to the ballot paper, I just like to mention that the people who are going to the physical polling booths to vote, please ensure that you carry your original ID proofs, because that would be checked by the polling officer before you're entered into the polling booth. And once you enter into the polling booth, whether you're going for physical voting or through a ballot paper, you or through a postal voting, you would be receiving two ballot papers. There would be one for the central council and one for the regional council. And on both these ballot papers, you would have the list of candidates who are contesting for the elections, and which would be mentioned in an alphabetical order. So, against the name of every candidate, there would be a box given in which you need to mark your preference. So, how we discussed, you can give preference one, two, three for the candidates that you need. But it is to be noted that the preferences should be given in numericals only, not in Roman numbers or in any other form, but only in the form of numbers. And a minimum of one preference is a must for your vote to be valid. If you actually do not wish to give any preference to any of the members, then you can put a cross mark against that candidate's name. But like we mentioned, it is always beneficial that you give as many preferences as possible. Now, when we look at some don'ts while you vote in the ballot paper, definitely do not mark your preferences in Roman numbers because that would not be counted. Your vote would also be invalid if you skip some numbers in between. Let's say you write one and two, and then you skip three and you write four, even then it is invalid. Or you write the same number for more than one candidate, that is again invalid. Your vote is also invalid if you write multiple numbers against one particular candidate. So it's just pretty simple. Just write one preference against every candidate in numericals only, and no other markings are allowed to be made on the ballot paper.
So you cannot give first preference to more than one candidate.
No.
Please decide your preferences even before you go to the voting booth, so that you have that clarity on how you need to vote. Also, do not write the preference in words like one or two, etc. And do not write the preferences in Roman digits, and just write it in normal numbers like 1 2 3 4, so normal English numbers. Please bear this in mind. And you cannot give the same preference to two candidates, your ballot paper will become invalid. So you cannot give first preference to two candidates or second preference to two candidates. Similarly, please ensure that you do not miss a number in the chronological order. Like, don't give first preference and then third preference. Ensure that it has to go 1 2 3 4 5, etc., because each round of preference carries a different ratio in which that vote will be calculated, right?
Right.
So the chronology matters. Okay, so I guess by here we know what is preferential voting system and how to write the numbers, which was really crucial when we talk about ICI elections. Coming back to Sahita, you mentioned that about the registered address and all that. So if a particular chartered accountant is not available at their registered address, then how can they vote?
Yeah. I'm sure there are a lot of members who had registered address at one place and now currently they're working somewhere else and they want to cast their vote from there. So we have an option available to change your polling booth within the same region. Say, for example, if you're in Bangalore and if you want to change your polling booth to any other city within southern region, then there is an option where you can visit changebooth.ici.org and you can select the state and city from where you want to cast your vote. There was also an option to change your booth outside the region, but that option has now lapsed. For change within the same region, the last date is 21st November 2024. So please make sure that if you want to change your polling booth within the same region, please do it by 21st of November. And you also get a maximum of just one attempt to change your booth, and no further changes can be made once you change that. And also remember that all of this changing booth is just for the election process. Your actual registered address with ICI does not change because of this.
Amazing. This is a very good piece of information, and I think we have covered everything what a chartered accountant needs to know in respect of the ICAI elections. With this, we come to the end of this very knowledgeable panel discussion, which is the need of the hour right now when the ICAI elections are coming. So, Shamita, can we have some concluding remarks from your end on this topic?
Sure, Pratiksha. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to encourage all of my friends and all the chartered accountants that I know around me to vote. And I encourage that all of you who are viewing this panel discussion as well to, educate all of your friends within the CA network to go and vote. It is on a Friday and Saturday. I'm sure all of us have other plans. We're always occupied with something or the other, but please take out some time of yours, really get to know the candidates who are actually standing for the elections, and then I encourage that you make informed choices.
And Sahita, something you want to add to this?
Yeah, sure. I just like to add, saying it's not just you coming and voting. You also encourage your colleagues and friends to come and do the same, and also make informed choices in case any of the members have any doubts on how the election process works or how you need to vote. Please ensure that all of that is clarified before the voting day, just so that all of us actually go and vote and all of that actually gets counted. I think our profession thrives when all of us participate and take ownership of the decisions and shape its future. So I'd say go ahead, make your voice heard. Let's all get involved and let's make a difference.
Yes, so to all the first time voters, you are fresh chartered accountants, and you have to really take advantage of this exclusivity of power that you get to vote in the ICAI elections as a chartered accountant. So it's a matter of pride when I as a CA have this power to select who will be representing me in the ICAI. It is a power that I hold, which is very exclusive to me and my profession. So, if you are a first-time, voter or a seasoned voter, please this make use of this exclusivity. Make use of this power that you have got to see who represents you at a very larger scale in the ICAI. And also, let me tell you, not just that, everyone contesting this election has taken huge efforts to make themselves visible in front of you, to represent themselves, and also the next 4 years after they get elected, they are going to be working towards the cause of the institute. And you, as you all know, it is just their love for the institute, which is why these people even try to contest. So let us also respect that hard work that is going in through these contestants as well. And respecting that, let us all go out in large numbers and vote in this ICAI elections, which are coming up in December 6th and 7th. please try to understand which is your particular date of voting, especially in your booth. So thank you everyone, and thank you Shamita and Sahita. Thank you so much for giving this in-depth
Thank you.
knowledge of ICAI elections.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Pratisha. Thank
Pratisha.
you for having us.